Now from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast. I'm Jeff Thee, coming to you on this Wednesday from the Dickinson County Museum. Mary Dreier, the director, here with us once again. And I'm kind of excited because when we were communicating earlier today, she said, "Can you be a kid today?" And
I know, that's a hard question, Jeff. I felt weird even typing that to you.
And my response was, I thought I already was. And my wife would second that motion and would carry unanimously.
Right.
But anyway, you've got kind of a project here that you used to do when you taught Sunday school and did different things, and we're going to incorporate it into history here today.
I know, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know. It came to me this morning that this would be a really cool way to tell this story of Abbie Gardner.
Yeah.
And it is kind of blending two worlds that I've been in. I used to be a director of Christian education, and I got to do this kind of storytelling called Godly Play. And it's a way to help kids wonder about stories and how to incorporate them into their hearts. And I thought, why not do it with the Abbie story, because it's a story that has lots of hearts. It has lots of wonder in it.
Yes.
But I needed a kid. And I don't have a kid handy. But I think I do.
Yes, you do. This kid's got a little gray in his beard and is over 60, but other than that.
Now, and just to set the stage a little further on this, is that in my past life, this would have taken place on the floor with these elements in front, okay? The reason they're not like that today is, I don't know about you, Jeff, but getting up off the floor is much more difficult for me than it was 20 years ago.
I can still do it. It just takes a little longer than it used to.
And more space. Do you find yourself having to kind of roll over and crawl?
And get to the couch and use that as a prop, So
I know.
You don't see 7-year-olds doing that much, so yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to be a story about Abbie Gardner.
Okay, very good.
And it's a story like many of the best stories, the very best stories, are sometimes kind of circular. They're not stories that go from point A to point B.
Right.
But they're stories that kind of are a circle, and then the circle goes in and in and in and in. Kind of a spiral sort of thing. So let's set the stage.
Okay, very good.
We're on the floor, not really. And we're going to get ready to bring a story into our lives. Okay? And I want you to put on your wondering mind. I want you to have your heart open. And just enjoy the story.
Very good.
And ask questions when you have questions.
Very good.
This is a story about a very special person, and her name was Abbie. Just like your name is Jeff. Her name was Abbie, and she lived in this area a long, long, long time ago. Long before you lived here, long before your parents lived here, long before your grandparents lived here. Back in a time when there were very few people living here. That's when Abbie lived here. Abbie came here as a young girl. She was 13, 14 years old, something like that. And one day, something horrible happened in her life here at Okoboji, and it was something that tore her heart and broke her heart. Some bad things happened to her family, and bad things happened to her. And she was taken away from her home that she knew very well and loved very much. And she went on a journey. She went on a journey far, far away into areas that she didn't know. And it was cold. It was really cold. And the snow was incredibly deep. And the winds were strong. She went to a place that she'd never been before. And in this place, people were cruel to her. We don't like to hear that about folks, do we, Jeff?
No.
We don't.
Not at all.
But they were. Abbie had some bad things happen. But she persevered. And she survived. And good things also happened to Abbie. What happened was, in this time when her heart was in pieces, some men came to help her out of the place that she was in. There were 3 men. Their names were Horton Hawashta, Chetan Maza, and John Otherday. These were men that didn't look like her. They looked more like the people who were hurting her heart. But these men came and they rescued her. They rescued her and they saved her life. And this came about because they and other men that looked like them sat in a circle. Just like the circle that this story is. They sat in a circle together. Mm-hmm. And they thought, and they thought, and they thought. And they smoked a special pipe. This very pipe, Jeff. This very pipe. And by doing that, they found wisdom. And they found ways that they could, in fact, rescue Abbie. And that's exactly what they did. They brought Abbie back to a place where she could begin to mend her heart. They brought her back to this place, and she lived a good life here, back here in this very area where we walk and breathe and live today. Time went on. A long time went on. And Abbie knew that this story was the story of what had happened to her, was a story that could and should be told around. And one of the ways that she found to tell this story was by bringing friends together to build this monument as a symbol of all that had happened to her in this story. When this monument was finished, it took many days and many people to build. When it was finished, there was a big celebration. This was a long, long time ago, Jeff.
Yes.
It was in 1895. Long, long, long ago. There was this big celebration. And during this celebration, 2 very special people came back. Here we have Chetan Maza. Do you remember his name, Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
And we have John Otherday. They came to this celebration to celebrate Abbie, to celebrate those who helped Abbie in her bad times. They brought something with them, Jeff. Something that just made her heart sing. What they brought back with them was this peace pipe. The very peace pipe that was used in the circle with the men that look like them to find the wisdom to release her from the troubles that she was having.
Yes.
They gave this very peace pipe to Abbie Gardner as a sign of their high regard for her. They loved how she told her story and how she lived her story. So they brought this back to her. And this was treasured by her for years and years and years. What we've recently found at the museum is a photo that shows how treasured this peace pipe was, this very peace pipe. You can see it in this photo, Jeff.
Yes.
This is held by a man named Albert Sharp, who was Abbie Gardner's grandson.
Oh.
And it is also held by another young boy named Albert Sharp. Albert Sharp was Albert Sharp's son. And they are showing this peace pipe because it is such a treasure. It's a treasure not just for Abbie, it's a treasure for the world because it is a symbol of how Abbie found peace, how Abbie's heart, which was broken, came back together. And that's the story, Jeff.
That is such a wonderful way to tell that story, Mary.
It is.
It is.
And just imagine yourself, I know this is a stretch, but just imagine yourself as a kid with other kids, sitting in a circle, and this is a story you haven't heard before.
Yeah.
I would go on to ask, are there times when your heart has been broken?
Yeah.
Have there been any times when your heart has been put back together? And how did that happen? How did your heart get back together?
Right.
And Abbie would say, through these men.
Yes.
Who had the wisdom to know how to rescue her.
Yeah. I think that's a nice way of telling it, whether you're 6 or 60, quite frankly.
Do you?
I wish you'd have been my Sunday school teacher.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. I was the one to say, what's an arc?
You know, stories are what's important in this world.
It is.
It's through stories that our hearts are opened.
Yes.
And I know that I'm almost teary from telling this story this way, and I can tell that you are too, Jeff.
Yeah.
Why don't we tell stories like this about historical things?
Yeah.
I think today is the day that we're beginning to do that here.
Yes.
I think you can have all this stuff in the world, and it's great, and it helps you tell these stories.
Right.
You know, but it's not the story.
Right.
And it's through these stories that we internalize what's gone on before us and how people's lives were changed because of their experiences. And, you know, Abbie changed lives.
Yes.
Because these men changed her lives.
Yeah. And I would add that this was not her destination.
No.
This was her destination.
Right. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. And how different the story of Abbie Gardner would be if her heart remained like that.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it was like
She had
this.
that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because of the kindness of others. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's a nice way to look at the story.
Yeah.
Terrible things befell her. The kindness of others helped her heal.
Yeah.
And have a full life and full circle with her son and grandson shown with this peace pipe that was presented.
I'm not sure if I said that, but it was presented by Albert Sharp to us.
Yeah.
The grandson in this photo gave the museum, gave the people, gave the public trust the ability to tell this story and share this story and make it live on and on and on.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for sharing that wonderful story.
Thank you. For being a kid, Jeff.
Unavoidable. Now, if I recall, you have an event this Sunday, do you not?
We do. We have Don Hofsheimer coming back. Don Hofsheimer is this delightful man, 85 years old. He's driving from Mankato, Minnesota to do this story. He is a nationally renowned railroad historian and author. I don't know how many books he's written, but he wrote Prairie Oasis, probably one of the best books about the early history of Dickinson County ever written, and he's funny. He is so funny. He will be here at 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon, right here at the museum.
Right.
And he's going to be sharing stories. I don't know if he'll be using things like this, but he's going to be sharing stories about the awful winter of 1936. I'm sure your grandparents talked about that.
Yes.
I know mine did.
Yes.
My dad did too.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, so that's happening. And then next Wednesday for Way Back When, we have a special guest. Sue Betcher's going to be coming. And we're going to be sharing stories about 4-H through the years. And so that's going to be really fun too.
All right, Mary, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks a bunch, Jeff.
And thank you for sharing a story I've heard numerous times in a special way that touches the heart and doesn't break it. So very good.
I'm glad you liked it, Jeff.
Yes, indeed. Mary Dreier again here with us today at the Dickens County Museum. We want to thank her for her time. Always, we thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by West Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. The headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by West Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. The headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.